Welcome to another episode of Theosophical Insights. We continue our conversation with Erica Geogiades. In the first part, she spoke about the difference between wanting to achieve union with our divine nature out of curiosity versus out of need, as well as learning how to make the best out of the worst results we get. She was such a pleasure to chat with. Her crystal clear wisdom glows with compassion and understanding.
And if we are inspired, when we are out in the world, I guess we can face some situations in a more balanced way, because being inspired always helps us to face different circumstances with a little bit more of balance in perhaps seeing things in a different way. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think I would like to ask you a bit more about your work directing the School of Wisdom in Adyar, because it helps us to live life in the center and to deepen our understanding, align more of our intuition. How has School of Wisdom been a vehicle for the TS and its members and anyone who and its students to live life more theosophically?
The School of the Wisdom was founded in 1922, and initially it was named the Brahmavidya Ashram, which is the Sanskrit for a School of Wisdom, we could say. And with the aim to offer an environment for the members of the Theosophical Society in which they could awake their intuitive aspect. And the intuition, the pedagogy of intuition was something very much emphasized in the early work of the School of the Wisdom. And to achieve that, they included a number of activities related to art. So you find a number of art activities in the early days of the School of the Wisdom, and not only offering a space in nature in which you can spend some time immersed in these ideas and sharing with others and listening from someone who has more experience on the topic, so that you are more inspired and touched and can, when you go back home, you can try to apply those things in your daily life. So the school has been working very much in this line since the time that it was founded during the Second World War, or a bit earlier. The school activities were closed, and then around, I think, 1949, Geogiades, who was one of the co-founders of the Brahmavidya Ashram. The ashram was founded by Krishnamurti, by Annie Besant, by Geogiades and others. So Geogiades revived the School of the Wisdom in around 1949, and the school is active until today. And the work related to art was not very active after the school was revived by Geogiades. So slowly, the art aspect involving dance, painting, and other activities was almost forgotten, I would say. But still, the school remained as a place of inspiration for the members, offering during that time, they would organize a 3-month program, not just 2 weeks as it is now. So I remember that the first time I actually attended the School of the Wisdom was back in 1994, I think 1993, and it was for 3 months. You would go to Adyar to stay 3-month study. And the school was working in this way until, from Geogiades until the period that Radha Burnier, the past international president, passed away. And then after there was a reform in the school, and then the school started offering 2 weeks classes Again, in the same way, with the same spirit, to offer this space so that everyone can go and share and learn and have the lived experience. And the School of the Wisdom has been working this way. I hope I answered their question.
Yeah, thank you very much. I hope to attend the School of Wisdom soon.
Yes, thank you. And of course, another important project we would like to ask you about is European School of Theosophy. Could you tell us a little bit how it was established and what is the idea behind it and the main activities?
The European School of Theosophy was established in around 1982 by a group of theosophists. It was Jan Hoskins, Geoffrey Farthing, and Adam Moorkap. It was established in the United Kingdom, in England. And in the beginning, they wanted to create a campus, a beautiful campus for the school with a wonderful library, but they could not achieve that. Then they decided that the school every year would meet in a different country of Europe, taking then the teachings and the program to a different country, giving them opportunity to everyone participate, so that, because for many people it's difficult to travel. A lot of people, they do not have money to travel, and then they thought to facilitate this process, taking the school to a different country. And the program of the school is a 5 days intensive study program, in which we have lectures from morning to the evening, from 8, sometimes 9 a.m. to 10 p.m., of course, with the breaks in between. And then I was invited to direct the school. I think it was around 2017. And since then, the European School of Theosophy has met in Greece, in Austria, in the Netherlands, and then we had, I think, in Italy, and this year we are going to Switzerland. In Egypt, we were in Egypt last year. Actually, we organized the first Theosophical conference in Egypt forever, and we never had a Theosophical conference organized in Egypt before. And we also organized a conference both in Luxor and in Alexandria. And it was the first Theosophical conference within the contemporary time, since the Theosophical Society was founded, that was organized in Alexandria, Egypt last year also. It was actually quite challenging because of the war started just a few days before our conference started. It was challenged, but Theosophists, they are brave and they do not give up easy. So everyone went to Egypt despite the challenges, and it was a wonderful experience. And this is the way that the European School of Theosophy has been working since its foundation.
Thank you. And a follow-up question. There is a very big project of Lucifer magazine collection publishing in different volumes. Could you also talk a little bit about it? I understand it is now complete, if I'm not mistaken. And how did the idea appear, and where can people buy the books? And is there electronic version also?
No, well, this is a very large project. This is an anthology of all the material published in the Lucifer magazine. The Lucifer magazine was the magazine that Madame Blavatsky founded when she moved to London. And she founded the magazine, I think it was in August of 1887. And the magazine existed and was published until August of 1897. Of course, when Madame Blavatsky died in 1891, Annie Besant became the editor of the magazine, and eventually G.R.S. Mead joined the editorship. When Annie Besant moved to India, G.R.S. Mead became the sole editor. And And then in 1897, G.R.S. Smith decided to change the name from Lucifer to the Theosophical Review magazine. And then it's when the magazine stops. So we decided to do an anthology to divide all the contents of all issues of Lucifer magazine into the Blavatsky years and post-Blavatsky years into topics. So karma, the reincarnation, all articles were put in one volume, and Buddhism and Hinduism and ancient religions and so on and so forth. So when we start the project, I'm not sure where we were in our mind that it was during the pandemic years. We thought it was going to be around, no, the entire collection thought it was going to be around only 12 volumes. I'm not sure how we even imagined something like that, but we thought that was going to be like something like that. Now, right now we have published 34 volumes, and there is still pending more 16 volumes to finish the collection. So it will be around 50 or 52 volumes, the entire collection, which is gigantic. I'm not sure how we managed to do that, but we have published 34 volumes. And not only, we have divided all the topics. So there is an amazing volume for those interested in theosophical history, which is What's the Buzz? What's the Buzz is 2 volumes on What's the Buzz from the Blavatsky years and post-Blavatsky years. Each volume is around 800, 900 pages, in which we compiled all the theosophical work described and reported in the pages of Lucifer magazine in chronological order, of course. So this is an amazing historical source which facilitates research a lot. So this material, all these books, they are available at they're on Amazon, or also you can see them at www.lucifermagazine.com. Yeah, that's an amazing project. And it was very rewarding also because we really went into the spirit of the time, into the challenges they were facing during that period. And Madame Blavatsky, she was a very brave woman, you know, to create a magazine called Lucifer. During that period of time, it was very, very, you know, brave for her to do something like that. And so, yeah, it was an amazing experience. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you for working so hard. So in between all the work that you do for TS, and how do you reflect on, how do you find quiet time for yourself? By extension, how you meditate. So could you tell us a bit more about that?
Look, when we do something that we love, we don't need really to rest or take holidays. So it is very interesting because one day I made exactly the same question to Radha Burnier. When I was very young, I was in India. Radha was working around, and you know, it was around summer, close to summer. Every summer I was leaving from India because it was very hot. I could not stay there. And then everyone was leaving for holidays, and then I asked Radha, "Don't you take holidays?" And she told, "Does God takes holidays?" She didn't compare herself with God, obviously, but she meant that when you do something that you love, you do not need to take holidays. There's no the thought of taking holidays because you live and breathe it. So it's part of your soul, it's part of your life. There is a joy in doing that. So now the practice of meditation is, that's a very long topic, but just sitting down for some time, trying to calm your thoughts, meditate on a virtue to begin with. And then, of course, there is a vast number of, there is a huge theosophical literature out there, including many unpublished, not unpublished, forgotten theosophical books there is a gigantic gamma of forgotten theosophical books that they offer so much, you know, that it would be nice if they would be republished again, but would be another project and not for me. But there are many theosophical sources out there that can help you with meditation. There is another booklet which is Light on the Path, and the Voice of the Silence, and the Practical Occultism of Madame Blavatsky, and the Science of Yoga of Taimni, and the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, and the ancient writings of ancient philosophers. There's a huge source of literature that can help anyone who wishes to engage into some practical work. Because I have found out, what I have realized is that, you know, when we practice something, we have to find our own ways, that which inspires us, that which makes things easier for us also. I have seen all these years that I have been among esotericists, theosophists, I have seen a lot of people practicing different techniques. I have met a lot of people practicing different techniques, you know, doing different exercises. And I have never seen truth change or on them, you know, and this was something that I came to realize, that when you find something in a book that may inspire you or that you may want to practice, you know, eventually, if you are self-aware, if you are a philosopher or a friend of wisdom, the philosopher is a person who is a friend of wisdom, who loves wisdom, who seeks wisdom. And then the philosopher has an inquisitive mind, is a person who will question things, you know, who will raise questions also, and who lives an examined life. And of course, this involves reflecting into any practice that you do. And I came to realize that it's very difficult when you try to follow a model of meditation or work given by a third part. You can do this in the beginning to help you to learn some techniques, but eventually you will reach a stage in which you have your own technique, which is the one that's suitable for you, which may have sources of inspirations that can be from different philosophers or from different theosophical books. But you will reach a point in which you have your own way to do your own things, but that requires practice. And the first step is in practicing at least sitting down, no, if you can find time, instead of being hooked to the mobile, just put the mobile on the side, you know, and close your eyes and you know, and pay respect to your soul, and think of your soul, and evoke the highest and the most noble feelings and thoughts that you can evoke, and try to calm down your thoughts, your emotions, you know, and to meditate. Sometimes you can focus on a virtue that you think that you would like to develop. If you do like to develop patience, you feel like you want to be more patient, meditate on patience, live and breathe patience. Think of patience all the time, that your mind is free, and try to become that, an expression of that quality in your daily life. This is also, a meditation does not involve only sitting, you know, in a space. You can meditate while you are working or doing other things, you know. And there is a very important aspect that today, and this actually I have found it among the ancient Greek philosophers, especially the Platonists. I mentioned before that memory for them was something very important, but the memory which would allow them to remember that divine nature, the divine self, because in essence, we are all living inside Plato's cave. Do you know the history of Plato's cave? Plato's cave is the following. There are 3 persons enchained in a cave, and they are facing the wall of the cave, and they can see only shadows on the wall. They can hear sounds of people outside from the cave, but they do not know what those sounds are. And the only thing they know is the shadows they see on the wall of the cave. And eventually, and they think they are the shadows, and they think that the only thing that exists are the shadows and those voices they hear. And eventually one prisoner manages to be free and goes outside of the cave and sees a lot of people in the sun. And then Plato says, but that is also an illusion, because there is more. So we are living like the prisoners in Plato's cave. So I was reading, day before yesterday, I was reading a book of Iamblichus, in which he was we know very, very little of Pythagoras' life. Sorry for the digression. And one source of Pythagoras' life is coming from Iamblichus. He wrote whatever he could, he knew at the time. And he said that the Pythagoras, he was teaching his students the first thing when they wake up in the morning, waking up, not before sleeping, was trying to remember everything they have done in the past, in the last day, every word, every thought, everything they have done, you know, and trying to remember all that, beginning from the last minute before they lie down till the morning when they wake up the last day. Sometimes they would do this retrospective going back 2-3 days. And they believed that this was an exercise that would help them to develop not only their memory, but also to improve themselves, to work themselves, which is a process very much used in the practice of self-knowledge. So all these exercises are things that we could do when engaging into meditation. And I think that I'm speaking too much.
I find it very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing. But did they try to remember it like a direct way or the other way around, from evening to morning? Is there a reference to that?
I don't have the booklet here, but yeah, they were going when they were from their last thought before they lie down to sleep, backwards.
Yes, fascinating.
Backwards, like a chain of events, backwards. Yes.
Thank you very much. And there is an interesting question. This famous Theosophical formula, study, meditation, and service. Which is your favorite?
Study.
And what are the benefits of study then?
Look, it's very difficult, because this is one thing, study, meditation, and service. It's unfair to say that's study only. Study, meditation, and service, it's a way of being, you know, because for theosophical life, they are intrinsic parts of a theosophical life, because, you know, there is this one amazing, you know, this amazing teaching that we get again from the Platonists is that each one of us is an immense source of light to the world. That we have so much light within ourselves, and that we need to share this light with others. And now that we have the potential to share this light with others. you know. So, and of course, in remembering that we are that light and that we have this light to share with others, we are also, so we are studying, theoretically to learn that we are that light, and then we are practicing and trying to remember that we are that light, and that we are serving in becoming, consciously trying to become that light and bringing that light to the world. So these three aspects, they cannot be separated. And I mentioned the study, of course, because I'm very much interested into philosophy and I love studying, but also the philosopher, the true philosopher, not the modern contemporary analytical philosophy, because I have a degree in analytic philosophy. It's something completely different that has nothing to do with ancient philosophy, because ancient philosophy was a way of being, a way of life, you know. It was not just metaphysical speculation. And so I cannot really separate study, service, and work. I think they are one. And then my favorite are the three then. Because they're one, so the three are one, so I cannot separate them.
And they must also probably be reflected, all three in each, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Somehow.
well,
Thank you.
thank you for reminding us that we need all three. I really like what you said about how everyone has so much light in them, and we are working towards finding that light within, and then practicing how we can shine. There are many young people who have joined the TS as well as WFYT, and among the young people, sometimes it can be even harder to see their own light because of many factors. Low self-confidence, struggling to fit in. There are many factors contributing to young people feeling like they're not worthy. What advice would you give to young individuals or young Theosophists today who are exploring spirituality and Theosophy?
All of us, we have our up and downs. We have our difficult moments and we have our moments of inspiration. Life can be challenging for life. Well, life is challenging, but life is also holds an immense amount of beauty. And it's a wonderful source of inspiration, can be a wonderful source of inspiration to all of us. And what I would tell them is that they do not have to try to reach that light. They can try to remember, but they are the light right now. You are the light. You are a light in the world. And you are shining. You just have to realize that. But to realize, to understand that you are of a divine origin. Plato says that we are children of the stars, and that we are potentially, each one of us, a sun. And what is the sun? The sun brings light, gives life. And that in knowing that, this knowledge, I think it's empowering. And I think that we need to empower each other, you know, and no matter, because I think that when we say, oh, you need to find the light, then we put, it's like you are not the light, but you are the light right now. You just don't remember that. And then you have to remember, but already you are the light, you are shining, you know, you are light in the world. There is, in Portuguese, and usually we say when a mother is giving a birth that the mother is going to give a light. So the mother is bringing a light to the world, and this light is the child, this light is you, it's me, all of us. And coming to realize that truth is something very special, and it's part of our work. And that's my message. You don't have to try to find the light, because you are the light right now.
That's
The
beautiful.
light is coming out from your eyes. You are smiling. You are here. You have an energy. You have life. You are the light, a light to the world. Realize that and shine, and you will shine even more. I
That is
think
so
that's the
beautiful.
message.
A lot of us, like me, for example, I always see myself as having to work towards of course we have to work hard to become what we are, but like having to work towards what I am instead of work to uncover what I already am. So that's why I think it really takes a
A
big
mind shift.
mind shift. It would really help if we can let intuition in. We would know we are the light instead of, okay, we think we are the light. Those two would be very different, right? So yeah, thank you. That was very inspiring.
I would also like to ask you if you could share some especially memorable moment from your theosophical experience.
I had too many, but perhaps the most memorable moment was also when I met a Theosophist. She was an old woman from Brazil. Her name was Olinda. And she told me exactly what I'm telling you now, that you are the light.
Wow.
You just have to remember that.
We're
Wonderful.
passing on the wisdom that's
Yeah.
inside all of us. That's beautiful.
Well, maybe as a closing question, from your perspective, what is the future of the TS?
And the WFYT.
Yes.
Well, the future of the Federation of Young Theosophists depends on you guys, on the work that you are doing, and how you are gonna, the openness that you have into passing the work to others who are coming, other younger Theosophists, and not centralizing it only. Because, one thing that I have noticed in the Theosophical Society is that there is a tendency of centralizing the work for many years around the same group of people. And this can be something not very healthy for the organization. It's very important to have openness. And my message to the Federation of Young Theosophists is to have that openness, to recycle, to change leadership, and to open the doors for others, younger, to come while you are still there, and also can support and help them. Regarding the Theosophical Society, the Theosophical Society has a lot of work ahead, because we are entering a post-human era. Post-human is an era in which there is a blending of machines and humanity. It's an era in which we are endangered to losing a lot of our humanity. So there is an immense dependence already on mobile phones, as you know, and all this technology. And now with the advent of artificial intelligence, this is even becoming more serious, because we see a lot of people, they're not even working to write texts anymore. They write a line, and they say, for example, for the AI to comment or to write a book review on let's think a book, on any book of Annie Besant, for example, and then AI will go and will write a book review on Annie Besant, and then you go and write it on the internet, and it's okay. So for someone, for example, who does not know AI, I was actually accepted at the University of Athens last year for a master in artificial intelligence and ethics, but I couldn't go through that because I'm starting my PhD. So I have been studying quite a lot of artificial intelligence, and there are keywords that AI uses that we can recognize straight away when the text is AI generated and so on. So I think that one work of the Theosophical Society is remembering and emphasizing our humanity, is not and saying you should try to work yourself and to produce yourself and not rely so much on machines. You know, in Plato's time, going back to the past, just to illustrate the example, Plato, he was against writing. He did not want to write books. He did not want his students to write books because he was saying that we have to remember what we learn so that we can truly learn. So before the advent of the mobile phones, I knew by heart, I think 150 telephone numbers. After the advent of the mobile phone, I do not remember even my own mobile number. So I have experienced the change, which, okay, it's not something that affects our humanity directly, but more changes will come. And then I think the greatest challenge of the Theosophical Society in this post-human era that we are entering is to show the need to keep a balance between technology and our personal lives and our quests and our humanity, and showing that to the world by offering a work that is genuinely humane and not created by AI, for example, or resourcing from such source. So I think there is a very deep ethical issue that the Theosophical Society will face. It's not facing yet, but I believe that we will eventually face, which is how to move forward in face of the challenges that we have to our very humanity. And there is a lot more that I could say, but a lot of the work of the Theosophical Society and a lot of its strengths and the inspiration that the Theosophical Society can bring into the world today will depend on addressing these issues related to technology.
Thank you. Yes, I think you have.
That's
Thank
very
you.
insightful. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me here. And do not forget, each one of you is a light into the world. Remember that always, in every moment of your life, that you can become a source of inspiration to others.
We're on all podcast streaming platforms, as well as on YouTube, if you want to see our guests and our own beautiful faces. Also, you can visit the website of the WFYT, the World Federation of Young Theosophists, to find out more about the podcast and other projects we're doing to spread love and light. Till next time.